Grix had always been considered the lowest of the low, even by sludgling standards. While other members of his gelatinous species could at least maintain coherent shapes for minutes at a time, Grix barely managed to hold himself together long enough to perform the menial waste processing duties that were the only jobs deemed suitable for sludgelings in the Korthek Empire. The day everything changed started like any other. Grix was methodically dissolving garbage in Processing Base 7 when the Imperial Genetics Division burst through the airlock with their terrifying scanning equipment. "Random Genetic Compliance Survey," announced lead geneticist Velkan, his crystalline form refracting authority through the dim lighting. "All species must be tested for genetic purity to maintain their proper caste positions." The other workers huddled against the walls as the scanners swept through the room. Grix, unable to hide effectively due to his tendency to leave slime trails, simply continued his work and hoped to be overlooked. He wasn't. "You there, sludgeling," Velkan pointed a sharp appendage at Grix. "Submit to scanning." The genetic scanner hummed against Grix's semi-solid form, and within moments the readout appeared. Velkan's 4 eyes widened in shock, his prismatic body flashing emergency colors. "Impossible," he whispered. "Run the scan again." 3 more scans produced identical results. Grix watched nervously as the geneticist's form began to tremble. "Specimen shows 99.99% sludgeling genetics and," Velkan's voice cracked, "0.01% Terran human DNA." The processing bay fell silent except for the sound of Grix accidentally dripping onto the floor. Within hours, the Imperial Palace was in chaos. Emperor Thaxmore himself materialized via emergency transport, his energy form crackling with disbelief as he stared at the confused sludgeling who had been hastily relocated to the throne room. "Show me the genetic report," the Emperor demanded. Chief Imperial Scientist Korthara projected the results with trembling energy tendrils. "Your Majesty, the readings are confirmed. This creature carries authentic human genetic markers, specifically traces consistent with Earth-human DNA from the legendary Terran seed chips." The Emperor's energy field dimmed with recognition. 300 years ago, when the Empire first encountered humans, they had been horrified by human adaptability and stubborn refusal to accept defeat. The war had ended not with human surrender, but with humans scattered across the galaxy, their DNA somehow integrating with hundreds of species before mysteriously vanishing. The Imperial prophecies, ancient texts that had guided the Empire's expansion, contained a specific warning. When the blood of Terra returns, even in the smallest measure, that being shall inherit dominion over all who oppose the human spirit. "But he's just a sludgeling," protested General Vextool, "the lowest life form in the Empire." Emperor Thaxmore's form flickered with ancestral fear. "The prophecies don't specify quantity, General. Even 0.01% human DNA carries the full weight of Terran inheritance rights under Imperial law." Grix, who had been quietly listening while trying not to dissolve from stress, finally spoke up. Excuse me, but what's happening?" "You," the Emperor said with resignation, "are being crowned Emperor of the Korthek domain, heir to the Terran legacy, and supreme commander of all Imperial forces." "But I just cleaned garbage." "Not anymore." The coronation ceremony was the most surreal event in Imperial history. Grix, hastily contained in a ceremonial crystalline throne to prevent him from oozing onto the floor, was formally invested with powers that spanned 17 star systems. The crown, designed for solid beings, had to be suspended above him in a stasis field. His first royal decree was characteristically humble. "Could someone please explain what humans are?" The assembled nobles exchanged terrified glances. Their new emperor didn't even know what species had just made him the most powerful being in the galaxy. "Your Majesty," Chief Historian Yathara began carefully, "humans were a species that turned impossible odds into inevitable victories through sheer stubbornness. Grix considered this, then accidentally dissolved a small portion of his royal chair. "Sounds about right," he said. "I've been told I'm pretty stubborn too." The Empire had found its new ruler, a garbage-cleaning sludgling who had inherited the galaxy's most feared genetic legacy and didn't even realize it yet.